I've been a filmmaker for more than 10 years now, and it's absolutely one of the most interesting and enjoyable creative paths that you can take. Being part of the making of for commercials that hit your screens, the music videos that loop in front of you while you're at the gym. There's something so satisfying in knowing that you played a hand in what other people are consuming. So if you're on the fence about whether to take the steps to get yourself on a working film set, I'm gonna convince you by sharing 5 reasons you should absolutely work in the film industry. The fulfillment of collaborating with other creatives. The stereotype of the lone creative isolated away working on their craft while everybody else is just wasting their time partying is very much a persona that I myself have been entranced by in the past. But you come to realize that to make an amazing short film or music video, it's way easier and more fun to have a great team by your side. Those long nights of script writing and planning your idea seem a lot less daunting with your director friend beside you. And after taking on a few projects with these collaborators, you'll have developed some pretty deep bonds with them. Going through the trials and tribulations that come from just trying to get a film off the ground, from its idea phase to something finished on a screen that other people can watch, is an experience that very few will understand the difficulties of. I remember back at film school, my closest collaborator, Andrew Morgan, and I made a bunch of projects outside of my university's curriculum that ended up teaching me more about the craft of filmmaking than any of my uni's projects ever did. I doubt I ever would have put the time and effort into making these films on my own. And even if I did, the experience of making them wouldn't nearly be as much fun, or left me with as many positive memories regarding my experiences. A lot of my previous collaborators are all back in England, and even though I haven't seen many of them in person for a while now, if we were ever in the same city together, there'd be no doubt that we'd be hanging out. We're intrinsically bonded together by the projects that we helped make together, and the memories and lessons we all took away from that time we shared. And seeing these other people's success in the industry, knowing that you played a part in their filmmaking journey through these previous collaborations, feels really gratifying. If you can get over the slight jealousy that you might have wishing that you were in the same position that they're in now. But maybe that's a topic for another video. So if you want to make lifelong friends and collaborators to share in your creative journey, then start seeking out fellow like-minded filmmakers. So many roles that you can specialize and focus on. You don't have to be a big camera and lighting nerd like me to work in film. If you're an organized maniac and a stickler for details, you can be a first assistant director, taking the reins of a set and making sure it runs like a well-oiled machine. If you have skills in making people look pretty, injured, or scared, you can work in the hair and makeup department, and one day you might even get to touch Brad Pitt's hair. Granted, some of these roles are a lot more higher paying than others. Roger Deakins over here, for example, is rolling in the cash versus his catering guy who fills up his belly with an English breakfast every morning. But if you find a decent sized pool of regular clients ranging across different film projects, you'll be making more than enough money to live off, and you'll be kept really engaged along the way. Here are just some of the day rates that you can expect for commercial work in the UK. Look at all that money! So yeah, it's very much a working hour for dollar type of industry. But maybe that stability is the kind of lifestyle that works for you. And in the long term, you have no intention of uprooting and moving country to, say, Budapest to leave all of your clients behind to work as the head of video for a YouTube dating channel. What kind of a dumbass would do that? Oh yeah, that was me. Getting paid to do something you already enjoy. Early on in my film journey, I would often have moments on set where I would just pause and reflect on how lucky of a position that I was in to be earning money doing something that I just loved. There's so many shitty jobs that you can fall into after graduating from university, but when people would ask me what I did for a living, I was more than happy to explain to them that I work on film sets. I'm not gonna deny a little bit of ego. I was young, working on a film set sounded cool, so it made me feel good to tell them that. Everybody likes and consumes film and video content in some way. And to be an insider into how that all works, learning from the peers ahead of you, and imagining a day where you can eventually take the helm as that big shot director or cinematographer that you've always wanted to be, that seems like such an inspiring and realistic future to look forward to. Yes, I met a lot of crew members who lost their love for a particular role, either because after some time they got pigeonholed into being the guy that only shoots sofa commercials, or the art director that just dresses Christmas food for Aldi. After a while, it gets harder and harder to turn down shoots like this to take on those more creatively fulfilling music video projects. Because being a specialist in these particular areas pays really well. I'm not saying at all that you're gonna be in love with every single film shoot that you do in your career, because there's just no way that every job is gonna burst you out of your bed at 5 a.m. in the morning with a big smile on your face. But as far as interesting, varied, and consistently challenging jobs go, filmmaking is right up there, with the long-term difficulties punctuated by finding clients and peers that will open up doors for you, so you can keep making the content that fills you with energy from shoot to shoot. Filmmaking will always be in demand. a job for life. There was a time where TV and motion pictures were two of the only ways to work in this industry, and these two branches are still going strong. But now with the popularity of streaming and social media platforms, you can have so many different types of careers in film and video work. The demand from businesses and content creators to put out engaging work on these streaming and social media platforms has never been higher, and it's only going to grow from year to year. Now, I'm not so quick to just go ahead and label TikTokers as filmmakers, up there with the creative heights of, say, Roger Deakins, but it's hard for me to ignore how the lines are getting blurred more and more every single year as to what constitutes as a proper filmmaker versus a videographer who just shows up and taps the record button. I mean, I have friends that shoot wedding films that are on par with the cinematics that you're likely to find within a piece of Netflix content. They're not filmmakers just because they're not making movies that go into the cinema. Doesn't really make sense to me. Even YouTube content from the likes of Mr. Beast rake in more views than the actual Netflix show that his video is based upon. So whether you want to be an editor for your favorite creator, or you want to be stood on set next to Yennefer from The Witcher, yes please! All these paths are valid forms of filmmaking and ways to make a full-time living. And regardless of the fact that many of us carry around 4K capable cameras in our pockets, there's still a skill factor in understanding how to shoot and edit things for a particular style. So your 7-year-old cousin won't be stealing away your video job from you anytime soon. I hope. Exposure to many different cool places and people. There's few jobs where you'll experience the amount of variety in the places and people that you encounter as you do in the film industry. Want to spend the day filming a live bull roaming around you? You can make a music video for that. Want to spend time at your favorite football team's training ground with their manager? You can make a commercial for that. The amount of cool and interesting locations that I visited that I wouldn't have otherwise been or gotten access to is pretty crazy. And it's one of the core reasons why this career path remains interesting and fun to be a part of. The more fellow creatives and production companies you build trust with, the more you'll be expanding your opportunities for interesting projects to fall into your lap. Oh, whoa, will you look at that? It's a project. I remember for the longest time I wanted to do a film shoot abroad. And for another filmmaking friend, I was recommended as a gaffer for a shoot in Bulgaria, shooting at the same film studios that Sylvester Stallone shot the Expendables movies in. It definitely wasn't the highest paying shoot that I'd ever done, but the novelty of getting flown to a new country to work on an interesting film project in an equally amazing location more than made up for it. So if you prefer to not stick around the monotonous white walls of an office job back in your home city, all the while getting paid for it and being able to say, look Mum, look at the TV, that's the commercial I worked on.
What's a bull got to do with Durex condoms?
It's a big bull, like a big... Now you know the reasons why you ought to get into the film industry. You should also be aware of maybe why you actually shouldn't. So check out this video here to save yourself a lot of time and effort before you realize that those 5 a.m. call times aren't for you. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because if you do, I'm gonna fly you off to Lapland to shoot a commercial with your favorite reindeer. Oh look, this one looks nice. Come here, little guy. Ah, bit my hand! Ah! Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.